Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to the 71st Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Andrew Norman and Mikey A. Today's topic is gratitude. Can you gratefully share what this means to you, Andrew, and show us why you're grateful to discuss this topic today?
I'm going to start off by doing a jig because I'm alive today. I'm alive today, man. I'm alive today. I'm a grateful addict, and a grateful addict doesn't use Mikey. I love you. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you back on, man. We need to do this more often. Great gratitude, man. Gratitude. When I attend the 12-step fellowship that I attend, man, and I attend these meetings, I don't hear a sentiment more, gratitude is what I hear constantly. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive. Grateful to be in the position that I am. When I first was introduced to this program, it was the H&I piece when they came in and they were showing such gratitude for being in a position of, hey, I'm coming here to give a message to 70 addicts, convicts, criminals, whatever you want to call us in that facility. And they were talking about how that was keeping them alive. And I thought they were lying to me, man. I thought it was like a community service thing. I thought it was, I thought this was a trick. And look, I thought it was a cult. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And look, if it got me clean, I was cool with it. I was like, hey, if it's going to get me clean, whatever's got to happen, because obviously I don't know how to handle my life in a productive way. And so gratitude, I felt that gratitude from these men that came to these meetings and were sharing their experience, strength, and hope with us. And something resonated. I knew there was something in the water that I wanted, because I didn't want to be a fucking drug addict anymore, man. I had kind of came out and said I was a drug addict. So then it's on me, right, Mikey? And I hadn't even read this part in the literature where it says, that we're not responsible for our disease. At that point, I hadn't even read that part in our literature. But I want to think that the God of my understanding, who I choose to call God, was working in my life at that point too, Mikey, already, because when I had no other thoughts in my brain other than, God, when we're coming out of active addiction, I'll keep it on me, man. I didn't have any constructive thoughts in my brain, man. I didn't even know how to read and retain information. I'm sitting in these meetings, I'm hearing 12 traditions and how it works and all that shit. And there's 12 of those. Are those the same things? We're getting thrown all this stuff, man. And we don't really know what all this stuff is. It's kind of on us right there at that point to kind of hear a message or to go the other way with it, right? Jails, institutions, and death, right? If that sounds good to you, go ahead, because I'm told that if I continue to use drugs, man, I'm going to be in a jail, in an institution, or I'm going to die. And a lot of us have died. Clinically came back a couple times, and we would make decisions on a whim, man. And you talk about being grateful to not be in a position where somebody's waking you up in the morning. Talk about being grateful to be in a position where like somebody's, God gets to put me to sleep at night when he sees fit, right? Not when like somebody's turning the lights off in cell block D. I don't have somebody racking me out of bed in the morning, man. I can make my own coffee when I want to, right? God sees fit to wake me up at a certain time. He saw fit to wake me up a little bit late this morning. We already know I'm a late person. But he woke me up, right? He woke me up clean. He woke me up grateful. And bro, I'm told a grateful addict doesn't use it. I don't care how cliche you want to get with this thing, man. But my gratitude, I can't turn that button down. I can't turn that button down, man, because I'm so grateful, man. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Every single day I wake up, I'm grateful to know that I'm an addict. Why? because I know what my problem is today, Mikey, Milan. I know what my fucking issue is today. There's people that go out of this world every day, don't know what's wrong with them at all, don't know what at all what's wrong with them, right? Whether it's health wise, whether they get into a car accident, whatever it is, they go out of this world without knowing what's going on with them. And normal people, let's we call them normies, right? People that are not in the fellowship. I don't see people that are outside of these rooms working a 12-step program or working spiritual principles in their life and living by them daily. I don't see it. I don't see it. I have people outside of this fellowship seeing the gratitude that I exude on a daily basis, and they ask me how to work a 12-step program in their life. They're asking me what I'm doing. What am I doing to get to this point? So that kind of opens it up. Look, I'm so grateful to be alive today. I'm grateful to know my ass from my face, man. I didn't know what up from down was in active addiction. Didn't care. So I'm grateful to be able to come in here maybe a couple minutes late this morning and be with you guys, man, because there's nothing more important than staying clean, man. And y'all help me stay clean just one day at a time. And I need y'all, man. I need y'all. I fucking need y'all. And I'm gonna pass that to you, Mikey. Gratitude, baby. Let's talk about it. Love you.
Boom.
What is it? What am I grateful for? What's the question?
So, what does gratitude mean to you, and why are you happy or grateful to discuss that here today?
Oh man, check me out, boys. You can set the over under at 2.5. I'm going to say this 1,000,000 times today. I am grateful that I didn't have to wake up and feed a monster before I fed Mikey this morning. That right there is worth its weight in gold. Also, man, I love it because gratitude's an action word, and every meeting I introduce myself as a grateful recovering addict, and I heard the same things, right? A grateful addict will never use. And I got to remember, man, even on the shitty days, I call them challenging days. That's one of the beautiful parts of this process, man, is I had to learn to speak to myself differently. I had to, even in the little things, I don't label things good and bad anymore because I deem what's good and what's bad. So it's either okay or challenging, right? And I got to tell you both this. I love you both, man. It's glad to be back. I'm glad to be back today.
Missed you, baby
We
boy.
love you, hot diggity dog.
Man, it's like that gratitude, man. It stretches to every single facet in my life, right? And there's days, right? Milan and I were kind of discussing it a little bit before the podcast, some people need to make a gratitude list. Some people don't. Some people struggle with it. Some people do. And for me, it's like it's like a day-to-day thing. It depends on my spiritual fitness, if you will. And on most days, man, even in the moment, even in the heat of everything, like if shit seems to be going south a little bit, like, man, I'll probably talk about it a little bit. I made like a little job switch, and it's been a little tumultuous. It's been a little challenging. Hasn't been the most fun time I've had in my recovery, right?
How do you, bro?
I love you back. Check it out, boys. Last week on Friday, we celebrated 4 years back in this process, man.
I know that dude.
Boom.
I know that dude. I know him.
We celebrated that, man, and I'm fucking grateful.
That's my guy
I'm
right there.
grateful because, man, I was one of those clinically dead people, man. I was one of those people. You touched on so much in your opening part because I'm just like, and that's another piece of this process that I'm grateful for the identification, man. I'm glad that I keep an open mind and I can just not compare and just identify because there's nothing better than a good old me too in this process because it lets me know I'm not alone. It lets me know I'm not alone. And I'm grateful to talk about gratitude because I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be on this side of the fence. You call them normies, I call them aliens. I don't see that either. I think that everybody on this planet can benefit from a 12-step fellowship and working 12 steps. And yes, even those 12 traditions, because it keeps everything in focus, right? Those are the non-negotiables, as they say. They can't be negotiated. Everything else is kind of subject to people's interpretation to an extent, right? I keep it on the eye all the time, but I am so grateful to be here with you gentlemen today, and I love you both very much. And I'm gonna go alley-oop over to you, Milan.
Ooh, that was like just sizzled by chisels. I'm telling you. Um, you know, I'm I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful that I had my rock bottom to get me to just so desperately seek this program when I did. I'm grateful that I got to meet you guys. And I'm grateful that we have such an elegant platform to share our lives across such distance as we do with Zoom. Like right now, we may never physically meet. And if we do, boy, there's going to be some juicy hugging. But like right now, we get to be brothers from other mothers across the land, and the magic that's all part of. Like, and then not only that is that somebody out there suffering gets to turn this on and just like roll into some love like we're sharing today. Like some people are lonely out there and they need it. And you know what? We got it right here and I want to share with them. Anybody out there, I love you. And I'm grateful that you're alive too. You know, um, for me, like Mikey just said it, but being thankful is a feeling, whereas being grateful is an action. Gratitude requires us to stay aware of the role of others in our lives. And I think, for me, the very first thing I do after putting the kettle on in the morning is the gratitude group I'm in. Like it's the very first thing I do because I can wake up real stinky in my head. And the gratitude list like is a recalibration right off the bat because I start cycling through things I'm thankful for, and also, it takes me back on a journey of my last 24 hours or my upcoming 24 hours of things that I'm like, wow, I'm going to mention it. A shout out to another Mike last night who celebrated 35 years,
Hell yeah.
and the message that he said last night was, if you're sober and you're living a life of contentment, he's like, don't try to make your program anybody else's. Everybody's gonna, need to focus on different things. And everybody's recovery is not like a jigsaw puzzle. It's whatever's fitting your life. And I thought, for someone after 35 years, like he is the founder of the men's meeting here in town. And why? Because he showed up and he saw that people needed a place to go. Like at 70 years old, he showed up in a new town and said, hey, these men need somewhere to talk, just men. And, like started up a meeting, and like, so he's not just taking recovery, he's making sure he's giving it and getting it and part of it, like that is his gratitude of the program. His service is his gratitude, you know, and he won't even call it his birthday. He calls it our anniversary of you guys helping me stay straight. And I thought that's the first time I seen somebody do that. And I was like, that's the, he's like, this is our anniversary of the success of me not being out there, you know? And I really thought that, he's 80 years old and boom, like, man, he's got a 75-year-old sponsee who's got like 30 years. And, like, I mean, it was anybody who's new and you get a chance to go to some long-term birthdays, go. Because there is going to be nuggets of wisdom that take a long time to chisel out of a stone, And I'm really grateful that I got to go to that. Gratitude for me is exactly what I say on a lot of episodes. It's like that which we focus on becomes greater. We can focus on the things that are good in our life and they'll grow and blossom, just like when you go out and weed and water your garden, right? But if you just wake up and are like, I'm missing this and wish it was that and all those things, that's just like taking a shovel and putting yourself in a hole that you're going to have to climb out of and refill later too. You know, and it's really hard sometimes. But that's why it's an exercise. That's why it's something that's on my list. Like my very first chore list is gratitude in the morning. And I just think that having that real, like my first sponsor, he just celebrated his 10,000th day, which is 27 years and a bit. And you know, he's an older native guy, like really connected kind of to the spirit, and and for him, you know, he absolutely, like, one of the first things he said is gratitude is an action. He's like, if you're grateful it's a sunny day, then go out and let the sun shine on your face. If you love your dogs and are grateful for them, then you better be walking them or making sure they're fed or loved, you know, like, or like if you know, you want to have gratitude for your family, then do something for them, make them feel good about themselves. Like, always tie your gratitude into an action, not just something you're writing on a paper. Like, he's like, if you're doing a gratitude list, he's like, you better be prepared to do an action about every single one of them today. And so, you know, I think that it's just really important that, like, we live our gratitude. We don't say or write down it. And I'm going to leave that there, and then you can start with the questions, brother.
Hell
Oh,
yeah, man.
P.S. I'm
I love you.
really grateful that we are brothers, we are here today, and that we get to share on such a beautiful, positive topic that needs to roll into the hearts of some really tight, bundled people that are just looking for a way out right now. You know, anybody out there, I am grateful you're here, and I'm grateful that you have the opportunity to change today.
I second that. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that, man, if you're listening in today, I love you. We love you. We need you. I'm so grateful, man, for both of you guys, man. And I was going to start off by saying that, you know, kind of going into that. And I don't even want to get off on this tangent, but I love you guys, man. So look,
Ooh,
our
love you too.
gratitude can get thrown off course a lot. You know, it doesn't take much as an addict to get thrown off course, right? I think we can all attest to that. So how do you, Mikey, I'll go to you first. When you feel yourself getting off track on that gratitude piece, right? How do you flip that switch back to gratitude when you feel yourself getting off kilter, right? Off center. And that could be in a meeting where you get, you know, maybe somebody who you just don't fancy very much, or in your personal life at work. You know, how do you flip that switch back into that gratitude mode, man?
Well, I can tell you that I fancy everybody. No. No, it's pretty simple, man, and it's great. That's a really good question because I actually had to practice that last night at work, man. You know what I do? This is my life hack for it. Is things will start to go awry or whatever. It might even be in this fantasy world in my head, man. I get quiet. I get quiet really fast, and I'll just say the serenity prayer, and then I'll be like, "Hey," I call my higher power homie a lot. So I'm like, "Hey, homie, like, what are we doing here? Like, this is whatever." And it's kind of crazy, man, because right. I love that Milan just touched on that part, like that action word of it, because like I can tell you I'm grateful for my car all day long. Open the door, is it clean? Right? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my car ain't always clean. I'm just gonna keep it real, honest program, right? But man, it's so like last night, man, it started to get overwhelming a little bit, and like I had to take a couple minutes, and I went and sat down real fast, and like my brain, I let it to start swirl a little bit, and all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe you're not built for this. Maybe you should just, walk out the door and when all the whans in my head, right? And I say that to mock myself, but it's like it's true, right? Because like I'll instantly go into this place where, like, well, this is it. You came this far. Good try, kid. Let's head out the door now, and maybe we'll be back. And it's just like, wait a minute. I get quiet. I say the serenity prayer and I'm like, yo, homie, what are we doing here? And it's like, almost telling the committee to shut the fuck up and just being like, hey, like, we're here. You are built for this. And like, it's going to be okay. It's just going to be okay because this goes into that mountain in or the making a molehill into a mountain, right? Because when it starts to spiral, like you said, man, like it real fast, it can go just real quick from 0 to 60 in 0.3 seconds. That's how my brain works. And I'll just intensify something and I'll think my way into something. Notice I think my way into something, man. And, you know, um, it's not always that rock bottom when it comes to drug use sometimes, right? Sometimes it's about that rock bottom in my brain that like I think I've reached, but like that little nasty disease, that little fuck that's stuck in his cage up there likes to rattle around sometimes. And sometimes he reserves the right to grab the shovel and try and start digging in my brain, right? And that's where I got to have that moment of clarity and just kind of get quiet and ask for some assistance. Or, man, one of the best ways I was taught, reach out to somebody, man. Reach out to somebody. And real fast, man, things just start to snap back into perspective. I heard this in a meeting a long time ago, a long, long time ago. If we all get in a circle and dump our problems in the middle, just that much faster am I going to scramble to find my problems and take them back, right? Because I always think what I'm going through is the most profound thing. What I'm going through is always the worst situation, and if I get to take a step back and be a passive observer in this thing called life, check it out, man. There's people across the world that are fucking struggling immensely. And I'm over here worried about why this ship's not running smoothly. Fucking, it's gonna be okay. Building didn't burn down. So what? I had to fucking take some stuff off of somebody's check. It's not the end of the world, man. It's not the end of the world. And that's for me, man, is to just recenter myself, is to either get quiet and pray to the God of my understanding or my higher power, or I reach out, man. I talk about that all the time, keeping my hand out in an altruistic manner, right? And that's how I show up for my recovery today. I can only keep what I have by giving it away, and that's the gratitude piece. And that for me is like I get to reach out to somebody else and like, yo, how's your day going, right? I heard Andrew say this. He's like, the easiest way is just ask somebody about himself, man. Just ask because we love talking about ourselves, right? So, man, it's just it's that piece of it for me that it helps keep it just back to center for me. Doesn't work all the time. Sometimes I got to call 6, 7 people back to back, right? Sometimes I need to pray a few more times. Sometimes I need to jog that serenity prayer in my brain 300 times, but it's okay, right? Because by the time it's over, this too shall pass. And those are the moments, man. Recovery happens in the moment for this guy right here, right? It happens in the moment. And yeah, man, that's the simple, short, skibby answer. I'm sure there's about 1,000 other things that'll probably pop into my brain because it's not always just one little, it's not just this works all the time because sometimes, man, my brain's like, nope, 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 nope. And I just got to remember to tell the committee to shut the fuck up. And I'm grateful for that.
Are you telling me this is not a cookie cutter process, Mikey?
I don't believe so.
I love you, man. I love you so much. All right, Milan, you ready?
I totally forget the question.
Because just like we get off track in questions, we can get off track in recovery quick, man. So how do you flip that switch back to that gratitude lane, man, when you feel yourself getting off track, man, and feeling like when you're not in a grateful Milan anymore? How do you pump yourself back into that gratitude lane, man?
So if I got the option, one of the first things I do is I remove myself from that situation to not say something I'm going to regret. Like if that's an option, I will for sure take a moment for myself. One thing I've started doing is, I work from home a lot. I go and walk almost like at a regular 2-hour interval where I just go and clear my head. And I'm like, fortunate enough to live in this mountain valley that's really like photograph quality beautiful on my street. And it brings me back to a situation of gratitude. Like anybody who's on my Facebook, like that's what I'm seeing when I'm seeing it. Anytime, like I'm showing those pictures, that's me walking the dogs. The dogs are in it sometimes, but they just don't always fit in the frame of what I'm wanting to photograph. You know, First of all, I had a really good conversation last night with my sponsor, and it was really it wasn't directly about gratitude, but it kind of ends up being about it. Is that if I'm going sideways like that, there's a 95% chance that somewhere before that, I was living in self will. Like almost for sure. And my anger, dissatisfaction, broken expectation, or whatever it is a lack of acceptance and surrender on my part of what the situation should be. Like it's and it was pointed out to me just on an issue that I took to my sponsor, and instead of doing the reading that we were going to do together, we dissected my situation together for 48 minutes. And guess who wasn't surrendering? Guess who was like full on, like had his own self will project? Like I was like, I already had the bridge across the river, and I was like already at landing in pity party. Like for me, the difference between gratitude and a shitty attitude and a pity party is like one fine line. I'm like grateful, grateful, grateful. Oh God, come cry with me. You know, like
Argentina.
or come be angry with me, like watch me rage, like and why? Because I'm expecting something to be different. Why? Because I think I'm the puppeteer, and it's always the source of my discomfort. Like every single part of what him and I took apart was down to that. And and so it's just like keeps coming up right now. Like I am going to become the defender of surrender, because my life was stuck in a cycle, bender after bender, but now I'm the defender of
What?
surrender.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
That
that's
was dope. That was like man, we were going into a hip hop song right there, man. I was getting ready to get
that's
your
the
beatbox in the
chorus of
back.
my
That was
defender of
dope,
surrender.
man. You're the
Bars.
surrender defender, man. Come on, man. Captain America. Let's go. Bro, you guys hit on everything, and you took the self-will piece right out of my mouth, man. I literally was finishing your sentence as you were saying self-will, because when I find myself being in an ungrateful state, I know for a fact I've taken some of that self-will back. Um, I refer to this often, man. I wake up every single morning and I thank God for waking me up and giving me that self-will back, and then I pray that shit right back to him, man. I thank him. I go, God, homie, thank you. Thanks, homie, for giving me that self-will back and waking me up. And kindly, sir, take this thing back, because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it, man. My best thinking got me here, and I'm grateful for that, because now I can move forward. But I don't need this thing. I don't need this thing. Please put this under lock and key in your safe, and give it back as you see fit. But you know what? I think God, who I choose to call my ultimate higher power, man. I think He kind of tests me every single morning with that self will piece, man. He hands it to me on a plate of scrambled eggs and toast, and goes, "Let's see what this gentleman's going to do this morning. What is he gonna?" I feel like He tests me every single morning, and it's like every single morning. It's very easy to pray, because I just do it. I do it. It's a very easy. It's something I've really gotten familiar with and very 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 comfortable with, because He talks back to me, man. He talks back, and if you don't know what that feels like, man, just push, push, push. PUSH. Pray until something happens. Push, push, push. Pray until something happens, man. And I promise you, eventually, just pray uncomfortably until He starts talking back to you, and I guarantee it's gonna change your life. Um, so yeah, I stay out of my self-will, man, because I know when I'm starting to feel a little off on that gratitude piece, I got to get back off of my self-will, man. I'm taking some of that back, and it's cool, man, because coming up on 3 years, man, I'm starting to really feel, it's like a preventive maintenance program that I've set myself up with, right? I've surrounded myself with individuals like you guys, man. And I pray, pray, pray. I reach out. The best way out of my own head is a simple conversation with a meaningful addict. A meaningful conversation with another person. You know, it doesn't even have to be an addict. Man, I can go talk to the neighbor and get out of my head. You know, it doesn't have to be this, you know, we have to call our sponsor and set up a certain time to get grateful. That's not, we don't need to go there with it. You know, just call somebody, reach out, tell somebody how you're feeling. You know, honest sharing is honestly telling somebody how we're feeling is the antidote to our diseased thinking. It is also one of the highest forms of prayer in our fellowship. It says that in our literature in the basic text that honest sharing at meeting level is one of the highest forms of prayer in our fellowship. People go to church to hear the message, guys. I go to meetings to hear the message. I don't have one reverend, right? You got that one reverend that maybe some people like, some people don't. You got the backup reverend today. No, I go to meetings where there's 50 of them. And not all of them have to even say a word, man. I get something out of every single one of those individuals in these meetings, man. And it makes me so fucking grateful. When I see an addict that can't stay clean coming to our meetings every single day, can't stay clean, it puts me right back where I need to be, guys. Puts me right back where I need to be. Because as my literature says, man, somebody that keeps, an addict that keeps coming back after a relapse shows a willingness, unlike anybody else, man. They're showing a willingness to be there. And I know the pain that they were, we all know the pain that they were in sitting in that meeting, not knowing what fucking color the walls were. And not giving a fuck what the fuck was going on, man. Because I remember being in that. I just remember spots of that first meeting. I don't even remember the whole first meeting. I just remember flashes of people trying to read these traditions and stuff. And I'm like wanged the fuck out, man. So if you sit in these meetings and you're struggling to stay clean, God is in your life, man. Look, if you don't believe in God yet, keep coming back, because I know for a fact He believes in you. And this is such a beautiful program. This is not a religious program. This is a spiritual program. Religion is for those of you who do not want to go to hell, I heard, and then spirituality is for those who have been to hell and don't want to go back. A lot of us have been several times to hell and don't want to go back. And that's what keeps me here, man. A grateful addict doesn't use. I've been taught that it's okay to live a life that most people don't understand, Mikey.
That's right.
It's okay to live a life that most people don't understand. And I'm working a program not of self-improvement, guys. This is a program of surrender. The program of surrender. I'm gonna say it till the wheels fall off. And look, you cannot have a new reality with the old mentality. I had to change my mindset up, right? Like when God delivered me from this active disease, man, this disease that's killing people every single day, I had to get so far away from those old people, playmates, and playgrounds, man. You've got to get away from those old behaviors and people, right? Like, and I've referred to this before, man. Like prisoners, when they get released from jail, they don't go to the yard with their McDonald's and hang out with their friends when they get out of jail and eat lunch, man. They go to McDonald's in the next town over, man. They run and eat their lunch as far away from that prison as they can, man. So that's what I have to do with my disease. Is I got to run from that bitch, man. I got to get away from that thing. And as we said on the last podcast, there's no way to peace, Mikey. Peace is the way, right? There's no way to peace. Peace is the way. And if it costs me my peace today, Mikey, it's too expensive.
That's right.
Too expensive. I mean, I don't care. I might have a black card of recovery, man, but you can't. I'm not going to let you swipe that thing, man. If you're a door-to-door salesman selling chaos, don't come to my house, man. It's too expensive. I don't want you to check my credit on that chaos piece, man, because I have learned to lean into that unfamiliar piece. As an addict, I don't know what peace is, man. I finally found it. I'm so familiar in chaos. I'm so familiar in that shitty diaper, Mikey, that I'll sit in that shit all day, man. I'll ask for your shit to come in my diaper, man. That's how comfortable I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, gratitude, man. I'm so grateful to be an addict. I'm so fucking grateful to be an addict. Fear doesn't stop me today, man. Fear used to stop me in my tracks, man. I have faith in my life today. Faith trumps fear every single time. So I'm grateful to be alive today and be able to know what up from down is, and know that I have people in my life like you guys that I can call and get out of my own head, man. I pray. I got a God in my life, and I reach out, man. Serenity prayer can start my day over at any time during the day, man. Serenity prayer is an important thing. It's the first thing I learned how to do without even knowing I was learning how to do it. Love you guys, man. I'll pass that to you, Milan.
Boom. No, to Mikey. Mikey's got to answer his question.
That's what I meant.
I got to ask a question.
What?
So first, I got to ask a question: Is there cheese and onions in those scrambled eggs in the morning? Because I want to come over.
No cheese, chives though. Yeah, it's chopped chives. So yeah.
Fair enough. All right, let's see. Thinking about where you started in recovery, Milan, to where you are now, what are some things you inadvertently take for granted today that you are grateful for?
Breathing in my nose. Gosh. Like, man, just that impending doom. You know, like, there's a lot of days that where it was just like an impending doom inside, like health wise. Like, it was kind of like, you know, I'm killing myself. Am I going to die now? That was like a thought that occurred more than once. And watching my health go down and down and down and down and down and down and down. As of tomorrow, I'm 1 year no smoking.
Hell yeah, man.
Like that. Like, I was smoking since I was an embryo, man. Like, my mom smoked pregnant. She smoked in the house. I started smoking by the time she quit. Like, I've been smoking 50.
When did you first smoke one? Smoke your first one. How old were you? You told us that.
4 years old. Four. I convinced my babysitter to let me have one, and the babysitter thought they were going to teach me a lesson. And it was like the Craven Greens, which are like a real strong, like as strong as it gets in Canada. And I puffed the whole thing down, and he thought I was going to be like, ugh. And I was like, can I have another?
Let me get another one. Let me get another one, son. Let me double down on that, Jane.
So, I mean, you know, I think it's funny because I feel like this question is like a little bit like two things. It's like there are things that I'm grateful for, and I might not recognize it every day, but I definitely sporadically recognize it. You know, like just the fact of partying's not my solution. And it was my solution to everything. And I'm so grateful that it's not even on the board. Like, some really, you know, epically challenging things have been occurring in my life in the last 8 months. And it's not once been on my list of solutions. And that to me is like, you know, I have gratitude that my life is that different, that it's not that. You know, like, it was always my solution for the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, whatever. It was always the solution. It was like, in fact, it was my planned delusion solution. Like, I literally planned, like, in my brain, behind the, you know, puppeteering. It's like, going to be this happy, going to be this sad, going to be this angry. Let's go use. It's the only way. Like, you know, it's like a 1950s, like Barker at a circus. Come on all to the using circus, where everything's crazy and life is going downhill. But now it's not like, and you know, and a good example of that, I mean, just in a somewhat, you know, something that I can share that's not sharing anybody else's personal stuff, is like, I was just in Mexico for 6 weeks. Like, for a lot of people, and myself included, that is or was a party zone. And it was just like amazing for me that when I made it recovery centered, that what I found was a beautiful recovery community, a whole bunch of new friends, a whole bunch of wonderful, like, philosophies and experiences that I got to share in, that you know, I never saw down there before. And did I get asked if I wanted to buy cocaine 6 times on my way to the town square? Yeah, but it was just like, my recovery was just like strong inside me. And it didn't even like I felt sorry for the people that had to be involved in that trade now. And I felt sorry for the people that I saw really fucked up and where I was. Like that is their only solution. And I'm not saying that I take pity on everybody who's partying, because those people who can party and not ruin their life, fucking awesome for you. Because I had many good times until it started to, you know. But the reality is that someone like me doesn't have like a medium on partying. It's like either off or fucking way too much. So, you know, I think that I'm grateful that it's just off and that switch is down off, and that, you know, that I was able to get given a solid enough routine in my program inside my treatment center for me to be able to have days like I'm having all the time. And that it's like I know that if I do my program, I'm probably going to go to bed straight tonight. You know, like and that's to me is just an unbelievably different miracle than I experienced for so long. You know, like I was assuredly going to fail before, and
Mm.
now I'm most likely going to succeed. And that's like an unbelievable change. And to be honest, there's days where I take that for granted. Like today, my recovery is not on my gratitude list that I shared, and
Mm.
and and that's okay. Like it is okay because like it's allowed me to go and start looking at other things. You know, like I think that if you have like a sore knee, right? A lot of your mobility comes from like, oh, can't go here, got to walk like this, got to do that. And your entire motion experience is dictated by what that knee is going to let you do. But then once that knee heals, then you're moving on to other things. And it doesn't mean that you're not grateful for your knee anymore, but it means that it lets you focus on something a little bit further down the path. And you know, like I'm still doing my program, so that means that I haven't forgotten about my recovery. But it doesn't have to be the first thing I think of, because life has gotten a little bit better, you know. And I think I'll
Beautiful, man.
leave that there.
That's beautiful.
I kind of went rambly.
No, that's okay. I love rambling, Milan. I'll take that question again because I'm absent-minded Andrew today. So.
It's okay, man. This one's supposed to make us think, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Andrew. Thinking about where you started in recovery to where you are now, what are some things you inadvertently take for granted today that you're grateful for?
Wow, that's a great question, Mikey. My answer's changed 20 times since you started that question. Bro, I have a choice today, man. My man JJ, he says it all the time. I have a choice today. Why? Because I didn't pick up.
Shout out, JJ.
I didn't pick up today, so I'm so grateful that I have a choice, man. I used to not have a choice, man. What was a choice in active addiction, man? My choices were made, set, signed, deal, sealed, delivered every single day, man, in active addiction. And that was contingent around drugs, man, around my drug use for the day. You know, I want to get into, I used to worry a lot about what others thought about me. And I used to do a lot to please others, and that would make me happy, right? It gets into that people pleasing piece that we talk about all the time, and it's a very, very important part that we don't really realize we're getting into. And it's like the highest form of self dishonesty. We hit on that a lot, man. And, worrying about other people, right? And you got a lot of people that are out here, and they are committed to misunderstanding you as a person, right? There's a lot of people out here that just you're not going to get along with in life, and there's a lot of people I found out that are just committed to misunderstanding who I am and what my values are as a person. I got to let those people go, man. I got to let those people go. You have people out here that manipulation is when somebody blames you for your reaction to their toxic behavior, but doesn't address the disrespect that they made towards you, right? And we can get all fucking in our panties in a bunch for that when shit like that happens. Man, I let that shit slide, man. Gotta let that shit slide. You know what I mean? Like if it's gonna cost me my peace, it's too expensive. You know what I mean? I've learned today, man, I don't try to build. Man, I'm in the business of building self-acceptance today. Right? I'm in the business of surrender today. I'm in the business of, and I'm not trying to build my self-esteem up and trying to do all these esteemable things. Yes, it's great to do esteemable things. I've heard that before. If you want to build self-esteem, do esteemable things. Bro, I'm past that self-esteem portion, man. I'm so far past it. When you realize what self-acceptance is versus self-esteem, you don't work to build I don't have to build self-esteem today. When I'm building self-esteem, I'm evaluating myself, man. You know what I mean? I'm accepting who I am. I'm not evaluating myself anymore today in active addiction. Fucking everything was an evaluation. There were so many circumstances in active addiction, whether I was getting my drugs, whether I wasn't, that was going to set the tone for the rest of the day and the mood for the day. Like if I didn't have my drugs, man, don't call me. Don't call me. Don't come looking for me. And then if I did have my drugs, shit, don't come looking for me either. I started thinking about that. Like when I did have my drugs, who you calling? Leave me the fuck alone, right? We want to argue about what we were doing in active addiction, like we had it going on, and bro, we were out of it the whole time. There was no good times, there was no bad times. The drugs we just either had enough drugs where our body was like, yeah, we're chill, or we were in fucking a mess. I was a nutbag. So, man, I'm so grateful, man. I'm not fragile today, man. I'm not fragile anymore. I'm secure in who I am as a man, right? I burned this bitch down so I can learn who I was as a dude again, man. I used drugs for 20 plus years to become the man I became when I got off drugs in less than 3. Man, I could taste food for what it really tastes like today, man. If you're in active addiction, you don't even know what food tastes like right now. The food you're eating don't taste like that. The colors you're looking at right now don't look like that. Being clean without substances in my body, being able to wake up and know why that alarm clock's ringing, to know why that cell phone's ringing, right? I'm not running from my cell phone today, Mikey, because I'm running from predators. I'm running towards my cell phone because it's another addict that needs some help. Talk about gratitude, man. Bro, it moves my whole body when I think about where I came from and where I am today. Making a decision on a whim that could kill somebody and or myself. I used to do it all day, man. I used to do it all day, Mikey. And so, look, man, I'm fully aware that if I could come in here, man, and get a little bit vulnerable with you guys, right? And it's not comfortable at first, but that shit gets me better, man. It's the only disease we can talk ourselves out of, Mikey. We don't need drugs to get off drugs. We need meetings. We need fellowship. We need connection. Got to get out of that fear lane. You can't be fearful of what's going on, man. Don't be fearful to make mistakes. It just shows you're trying a new way of life. And fear doesn't stop death, right? It stops life. Nothing's going to stop death, man. Death's going to happen. But don't let it ruin your life while you're still here. You know what I mean? People only see the decisions you make. They don't see all the choices you had before you made that decision. And so I live a program, man, that allows me to, in a systematic way, man, I can take step 1, 2, and 3 to every decision I make during the day, Mikey. I can surrender that bitch. I can identify the problem, and I can turn over what I can do, right? And then I can turn the rest over, right? 1, 2, and 3, man. I've got a systematic way to make a good decision in my life today, man. What was that in active addiction? I didn't know what that shit was. I didn't care. Bro, my brain was scrambled eggs, man. We talking about this would be a scrambled egg podcast. Look, scrambled eggs, no cheese, extra chives on top. But look, man, if you don't move, I've learned to keep it moving. The disease can't hit a moving target. And those of you who don't move won't notice their chains that are keeping them down, right? If you don't move, you're not going to hear those chains moving around, right? Think about that. If you don't keep it moving, you're not going to hear those chains on your ankles that are moving around. You're not going to be able to get them off. So I'm gonna pass that to you, Mikey, to answer your own question, buddy. That was a great question. Thank you.
I'm just gonna advocate for queso now in your eggs because
I know. I was like, what do you mean no cheese on the eggs? I was like, get that cheese on there.
Bleh, bleh.
A little fried cheddar.
so what are the things that I inadvertently take for granted now? Man, you guys definitely answered a lot of ways that I could possibly go down that avenue, right? And I said it before, man. I wake up today and I don't gotta feed a monster before I feed me, right? And I don't say this to try and attack anybody's answer, but I'm grateful every single day for my recovery because what this thing does allows me to branch out all those other things, right? I got to remember that the drugs thoroughly whooped my ass enough to bring me to church basements and force myself to speak to strangers and all of these things and open up about my feelings, right? And that's one of the things, man. I got this built-in forgetter, and it doesn't stop with just the using, right? I forget a lot of stuff. For me, man, I inadvertently take for granted that connection piece, man, because I never knew that what I was searching for my entire life just happens to be the opposite of addiction, and that's connection. And that's what I found when I came to this community. Man, I love what you were talking about, Milan, that like you got to go back to a place that you partied at and you found this beautiful recovery community. I won't suggest this to anybody listening, man, but like I got clean where I used to, right? I had no idea that some of the most beautiful people I have ever met in my entire life were walking by me on a daily basis. That I didn't open my mouth and I couldn't see that I had a problem and all of that stuff, man. But like when I got clean in the area that I use, man, um, I found these people, right?
They're
And
waiting for us. They're
it's
waiting
crazy,
for us.
man. You
Yeah.
know, the area that I come from, I don't know because you know everybody's area is different. We keep a chair in the middle of the room for the addict that hasn't found his way or the addict that'll never be back, right? And
Mhm.
I earned that seat too, right? And man, it's just crazy that like that connection piece to it, man, because like I'll forget about that, man. I'll forget about that. And sometimes I let life get a little too busy and all of a sudden, I'm halfway through the day and I haven't even reached out to anybody yet, right? Like I work in a business that demands a lot of my time and a lot of my focus, right? And it don't matter. I work in the restaurant business, right? That's where I went
Mhm.
back to. And it demands a lot of my time. It demands a lot of my focus. And you know, it's it is what it is, right? And I talk about this all the time because I'm around alcohol a lot and everything, and it depends on my spiritual fitness. And like that's where the connection piece reminds me. It's like, if because man, sometimes listen, I'm not exempt from that bad thought, right? I'm not exempt from walking by a bottle of something and being like, ooh, there used to be good times there. I'm not exempt from any of that, right? And I got to remember that I got to be able to reach out, man. I got to be able to reach out, man. Something as simple as just not using, right? It talks about in the literature where I attend, like any day you not using is a successful day, right? And I need to remember that too sometimes, man, because again, it is all 100% the drugs brought me here, right? And I figured out in this process that it's Mikey that keeps me here. But I got to remember, man, it's always about those drugs. Because if I act out in any other way, that's why you hear a lot of people in the fellowship I attend talk about active addiction. I just say active using because my addiction can flare out in any single way, shape, or form. Like it doesn't have to be a substance, right? So I just got to remember that, like that active using piece, man. If I pick up, I'm fucked. If I pick up, I am absolutely fucked. I can have 99 problems and I could deal with every single one of them if I don't pick up a substance. But the second I do, I will have the worst problem I've ever had in my entire life. And that's an insatiable appetite for the next one because all bets are off. And I don't care who you are, I don't care the relationship we had. I'm going to start lying. I'm going to start cheating. I'm going to start manipulating. I'm going to go right back to that place where I'm pulling on heartstrings and, like, you know, I like to play the puppeteer too. I like to be the puppet master. If y'all just act accordingly, everything's going to work out and be fine, man. But for me, man, it's that connection piece that I'll inadvertently take for granted, right? Because, like, I didn't do this alone, right? I needed my higher power. I needed the people in these rooms to pray me in here, right? I need the people in these rooms to continue to pray to keep me here. I love that you shared that, like, that dude's like, this is the day that we celebrate y'all helping me,
Yeah.
because I make it a point anytime, like the home group I attend, man, we fucking pump up clean time and everybody's in there and we celebrate all links. It's not just, we celebrate in between time, all of our key tags. And I make it a point every time to say we share because I didn't do this on my own. I didn't. I need the help of every single person. And those are just some of the things because I take a lot of stuff for granted on most days, man. Like do I do a gratitude list every day? No, I'm going to be honest, I don't. But I stay centered in this program and
I'm adding you to my group. I'm adding you to my group. You
hey,
could a little accountability.
I need accountability buddies in my life. But it's something that, like, you know, I know I can benefit from doing it, but autopilot brings me to this program that I attend, man,
Mm.
because this new way of life is simply worth its weight in absolute gold. And I got to remember that connection piece. That's what keeps me here, man. That's what I was searching for. I got to remember part of my recovery is maintaining those relationships that I
Mhm.
built in this process. And I found brothers and sisters in this process along the way. Like some of them I might have been separated from birth from, definitely. And I appreciate every single one of those connections.
What number do you stop the microwave on, Mikey?
Number 3, baby, every time.
I hate that. This is crazy. This is crazy. I found my twin.
Okay. Yeah, I sure liked what you had to say there, Mikey.
Me too.
Your addiction's just waiting to get you alone.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's like, man, at the points where I feel like fuck this or fuck them and I'm gonna isolate, that's my addiction trying to pull me to the side and be like, hey buddy, what the hell? Let's have a case of the fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. So I got a wonderful question here. My eyeballs aren't working though. Here we go. Learning to practice faith and gratitude does not mean that we give up our street smarts. It means we start to develop a different kind of intelligence. We can stand up for ourselves without feeling like we're fighting for our lives. We begin to trust that our needs will be met and see the imperfections in our circumstances as opportunities rather than barriers to growth. Andrew, how has gratitude created opportunities to grow in your life?
Wow. It's crazy. The first thing kind of came to my mind when you talk about growth. Man, I backed it up in my head. My living clean says if I'm willing to move towards my dreams, a lot of times I blow right through them. But the magic in this whole thing for me is when I can slow it down just for today and I can really understand what the hell is going on in the moment. And I've been taught a lot of things when I can slow this thing down, man. My sponsor said he said this to me a long time ago. If I always give, I'll never want. But if I always take, I'll forever need.
Mm.
It's tough, man. It's deep, ain't it? It's deep. I can't. I have it written down. It's one of those things. I have like this photographic memory. If y'all haven't realized this, I like
Coke machine. Fuck
I am
yeah,
like
dude.
I literally black out and go into this stage where it just flies out. I can't remember that. That is such a complex statement. I can't remember it. If I always give, I'll never want. But if I always take, I'll forever need. And bro, like that right there simplifies things for me, man. Like I'm grateful because I used to not get, bro. I was taking. We were taking because we didn't what? Why? Because we didn't want to feel like we were gonna die, right? An active addiction. If we weren't raping and pillaging constantly, we didn't have our drugs. And so when I can simplify things, man, like that, right? Because I realized, look, I got high at the beginning. I started using drugs because I wanted to. Then it became a habit. Then it became a necessity that I used drugs. As soon as I got up in the morning, I needed to use drugs before I did anything. Now I got clean, right? Because of a necessity, right? Like they threw me in here, I was in a jails, institutions of death. I came in here fighting. Then it became a habit, bro. And now all three of us, what do? We live clean because we fucking want to. Bro, I could go right down.
I don't even want to. I love to.
Bro, this is the best. This is the bag that doesn't run dry, man.
Oh.
This is the bag that don't run dry.
The horn of plenty.
I'm telling you, man, this thing is this is my life given back to me on a silver platter, right? Because I'm getting values back. I'm getting thoughts and things are starting to tick that weren't ticking in active addiction. I'm talking my mind, body, and spirit, man. I'm becoming I'm a human being again, man. I'm not a human. I'm a human being. Not a human just being, right? Somebody said that one time where it's like I went from a human being to like a fucking spiritual being or something. I forget what Buffalo said that one time. Go from a human doing to a human being to a spiritual being. Like that's where he kind of came through with that. Do you remember that, Mom?
He's got some magic.
He's got some weird, cool, really funky, good stuff, man. But look, for me today, if it's not practical, it's not spiritual. That's it. If it's not practical, if it's not spiritual to me. The spirituality piece, man, it's the most spiritual person in the room is the one that can be most honest with how unspiritual they can be. Man, I can meet somebody where they're at today. I can honestly meet somebody where they're at, love them right where they're at for no other reason than they survived the same near-death catastrophe I did. So I love you for that. And my literature tells me, man, if I don't give this shit away, I can't keep all these beautiful things I have in my life. So my job now is so that I can stay better as I give it away. Right? I give that shit away. I got a super soaker full of love and humility, bro. And I spray that shit at you. And I don't care if you're ducking, you're going to get hit with it. And it might be uncomfortable, but we'll talk about it later. And I promise it's not uncomfortable, man. Lean into that uncomfortable feeling, man. Because love is the most powerful drug in the world.
That's uncomfortable. Love. It smells like growth.
It smells like growth, right? Let it happen. Let it sink in. Let it sink in, man. Because we love you. We need you. It helps us love ourselves. If you let us love you, it's actually helping us love ourselves too. So let that uncomfortability just reign over you, man. And I've learned that freedom arrives at my doorstep in the form of choices every day, Mikey. And if I don't use, I can stay free. I can stay free just for today, right? Based on my spiritual condition, man. As long as I'm tapped in spiritually, man, I get a stay of execution, a daily reprieve. And a day clean, bro, is a miracle. Even if it's never followed by another one. That's what my literature tells me, right? Word for word. A day clean is a fucking miracle, even if it's never, ever, ever followed by another one. So I got to be grateful for today. What am I worried about tomorrow for? Yesterday already happened. No amount of anxiety is going to change what's going to happen. No amount of regret is going to change what happened yesterday, man. But look, any amount of gratitude changes the present moment, right? And that's where I stay, man, as I stay in that gratitude lane because I can stay present. I can stay happy today, right? Just for right now, man. I don't got to worry about all that shit that's going on in my head, man. Right for right now, as long as I'm doing all right, I'm not using drugs, I'm going to be tapped in, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make a decision that's right for my heart. My family, I have that pause button. But look, man, if I always give, I'll never want. But if I always take, I'll forever need. And look, I'd much rather today, and I'm owed to Sean on this one, man. Today, I'd much rather be sitting in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting or a podcast or some kind of fellowship thinking about using drugs than sitting up in that fucking trap house or that dope house thinking about doing something like this. It's a whole different place to be in, man. It's a whole different place to be in, man. You think this thing is not attainable to you, man? And I'm telling you right now, us three on this screen right here, we were once you. We were once you. We couldn't do a fucking thing, man. I couldn't fucking see straight to save my life unless I was pumped full. You know what I mean? So you can do this thing too, man. You can do this thing too. You know, you got to get a little uncomfortable, but you get your life back, man. You know, it's not comfortable being in jails your whole life. It's not uncomfortable being in institutions your whole life. You know, narcotics produced this illusion my life was manageable, right? And it wasn't. I was just out there being a fucking idiot, man. Now I have these books, man. I got a practical solution to get where I need to. We're all spiritual beings, Mikey, right? That's what my literature tells me. We're all born spiritual beings. So what does that mean? I'm looking for something spiritually, man. I'm looking to tap in spiritually. But I can't do that using drugs. I can't do it using drugs. So I got to stay off that, and I have a choice, man. I have a choice today. I got to identify my way in and not complicate my way out. That's what I realized too. We can't come in here and focus on those differences, man, because we will grab onto those differences and hang on for dear life, man. And we don't want to give up, right? Because our ego and pride, it just got out. What does pride stand for? One of the primary reasons I die early. So you got to embrace the storms, man. I've learned to embrace the storms. You know, not all storms come to completely drown us out, man, and wipe the whole city off the map, man. A lot of them come to clean the houses off, clean the dirt off the roofs, to cleanse us. A lot of these storms come to clean us, guys. I no longer allow that messy ass past to imprison me. Mikey, it's my teacher. My past is my teacher today. And I realized a long time ago when I got in here that it doesn't matter how messy and how shitty and how nasty my past is, man, my future's spotless. Right? Even my day is spotless. I could be an asshole all the way up to right now. If I start living a little bit better today, my future for today is spotless, man. I can do I can make it what I want. I'll pass that to you, Mikey.
Okay, Mikey, learning to practice faith and gratitude does not mean we give up our street smarts. It means we start to develop a different kind of intelligence. We can stand up for ourselves without feeling like we're fighting for our lives. We begin to trust that our needs will be met and to see the imperfections in our circumstances as opportunities rather than barriers to growth. How has gratitude created opportunities to grow in your life?
Gotta chase my recovery like I chase the dope, right? I just got to be able to do that, man. We are some of the most resourceful people on this entire planet. We are some of the most gifted, intelligent, just potential having ass motherfuckers on this entire planet, right? And man, for me, man, it's like I hear somebody who happens to be in here right now. I hear him say, like, you give an addict an opportunity, and we are going to kick that door down every single time, and we are going to be able to thrive in any situation if we allow ourselves to, right? Like, you give me a job opportunity against some other people, you don't stand a chance.
Nope.
You don't stand a chance.
Nope.
I'm coming at it, and I'm coming at it hard, man, because man, it's that faith piece, man. That faith piece is like, I've been through so much stuff in a short 30-ish years of using, and I've came out on the other side, right? And
Faith, baby.
that's right. And I've come out on the other side, and like now I can turn all of this resourcefulness and turn it into, you know, a motivating thing for recovery, right? I get to apply all that stuff, man, because like, man, I used to wake up with fucking nothing and get everything that I needed for the entire day, right? Right. Like, I could remember driving across the city, 4 of us in a car. We got like 48 cents between us all, but we figured it out some way, right? And that's because, you know, we're resourceful. And I love this because, like, I always forget, like, I always look at it like we're talking to just I'm talking just the two of you, but like there's a whole broader audience out there. And like, man, put the bat down and pick up a feather. Put the bat down and pick up a feather. Because when I can learn to have that attitude of gratitude and I can apply it to something positive in my life, I don't like to say the sky is the limit, man, because in my literature it tells me lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise, right? And if I set the sky as the limit, that means there's a ceiling to this thing, and there's just not. There's not a ceiling. There's not, man, because the wider I make my base, man, the higher the point of freedom. And I'm trying to go straight through that motherfucking stratosphere today, right? I'm trying to build this thing around because check it out, right? I did use because it was fun, right? I'm never gonna tell anybody that like I didn't have good times, but at some point I crossed that imaginary line and like it became that necessity, right? And I'm grateful today that like it's not my solution anymore. It's just not. It serves no purpose in my life because with using, right, it means to die for this person right here, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean physically. That spiritual death is something fucking terrible, right? I say this because you know, I've been coming around these programs since 2013, and like I said before, we just celebrated 4 years last week, and I'm not a first time winner in this thing. I'm just not, right? And that's okay. Like relapse is a part of my story. It doesn't have to be a part of yours. And I can use that as that motivating factor because it tells me in the literature sometimes a relapse is the jarring experience needed to bring about a more rigorous application of the program, right? And I get to start to see all these things and like I didn't beat myself up. You know what? I learned to not beat myself up over that stuff because there's things that happened in recovery beforehand that I can still apply in my life today. The only thing that changed was my clean date, and I'm blessed to tell you that because like I didn't catch any new charges. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't die. And I was able to find my way back. And those are the things, man, that faith piece that like gratitude can fuel my fire, right? Like it says it said like, man, it's like my responsibility to fan the flame of a newcomer, right? Just like it's everybody else's responsibility to fan my flame too, right? Because sometimes I need it, man. Sometimes I need it. And I'm okay with that. And that's the we part of this thing. That's the we part of this thing. Because again, man, I didn't do any of this by myself. I didn't. I couldn't. If it was up to me, I'd be high as shit right now playing video games, not giving a fuck what was going on with the rest of the world, right? But today, like the God of my understanding and you beautiful folks inside of this right here and outside of this, y'all are the reason why like I'm here today and I'm clean and I'm grateful to be clean, right? Because today I've learned that I get to lean into that faith. I get to lean into that faith because hope and faith they go hand in hand for me. And yeah, man, I can use all that stuff to fuel like what happens next, right? And even sometimes, man, like I say that potential part because like I was a potential kid before I found the rooms. My whole life I was a potential kid. Everybody always said, "Oh, you have so much potential," and I threw it out the window because I didn't see it. And today, man, I see it, right? I see, man, y'all taught me my self-worth. Y'all taught me that I have self-worth. You know, took myself off the clearance rack a long time ago, right?
Woo!
And
You're priceless, brother.
He
priceless
knows
is
my
an
man knows his worth.
understatement. Priceless is an understatement. And I'll say it real fast, man. Like I've been going through this little struggle at my new job, and they've been kind of basically trying, in my opinion, trying to take advantage of a lot of stuff. And like they changed the terms of our agreement for a third different time. And I was finally like, wait, hold on a
Oh
second, right?
hell no.
because I learned a lot about myself in this process, man. I came in here, I didn't know what my favorite color was. I didn't know what I like to do. Fuck self-worth. I had no idea what that was, right? But today it's like, oh, no. We're not going to do this today because like I'm not a doormat. And y'all taught me that, man. Y'all taught me that. And I get to use this gratitude to fuel that because like if it wasn't for my fellowship and the men and women that surround me who basically have raised this little tyrant toddler into the man I'm becoming today. And I say becoming because we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. We're still molding. And I love that, man. But today I get to stand up for myself and I get to experience this thing we call life. And I don't just have to lay down and let everything happen around me. And, I get to stand on some things today that like are important. And recovery allows me to do all of that, man. Recovery allows me to just participate in this thing we call life. I
Love it,
want to
man.
hear. I want to hear your answer, Milan. I want to hear this.
Woo! Oh gosh, I was so lost in your response, dude.
I was too. Can I say
I
this
was
real quick? A doormat. My sponsor says this, Mikey. Are you there? He says I was not born a doormat, but I want to get all pissed off when I let you walk all over me. Right? Like, come on, man. Come on, it's crazy.
So how has gratitude created opportunities to grow in my life? Gratitude has really allowed me to set the direction of my thoughts, which is like basically creates the highway to the future me. If I'm focusing on those things that I'm grateful for, they're going to grow in my life. And what's left behind, all that negative shit, all of that addict, that jerk, all those things that I don't want to be like focusing on because I don't want them to grow. You know, it's kind of like I live in a desert here, and you have to, when you're building new houses here, you have to have what they call like zero-scape yards, where it's like real selective watering. And it's like, and you only put the drip irrigation by the bushes you want to you want to be growing in your yard, and then the rest of it's kind of like dry and gravel, and things don't grow where there's no water, right? And so I want the gratitude to be watering what I want to grow in my life. And so the very first thing is I want it to be growing my recovery, like, and sharing the gratitude list, and especially when there's someone new that comes in on this list who's really coming from the place where, man, like right when you're starting your recovery, man, there's some days where you're just feeling like such shit. To pull out 10 gratitudes, it's like going to the gym for 6 hours. You're like, holy fuck, I'm not feeling anything here. I can't even get to get the bar up past my face. And that's like the first one. then you got 9 more to go. And so, gratitude's allowing me to share this program in some respect, in that sharing my gratitudes, but also asking other people to share theirs. There's days where I'm like the least grateful guy ever, and one of my sponsees will beat me to the list in the morning because he works really early in Alberta, and I see his, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could be grateful too. Like a group gratitude thing allows us to share our thankfulness when we're struggling with it the most. And there's some people who are like, well, I don't want to do a gratitude list because like, who was it? Somebody came on here one time and was like, I don't want to do a gratitude list because it was oh gosh, what did they say? It was almost like they was objectifying gratitude or something like that. But it was,
Was one of our guys we had on?
well, somebody we had on early on the podcast, and I was just like, nope. I'm like, nope, I'm nipping that in the bud. I'm like, the fact is that it allows me to change my day. It allows me to change my day, and it reminds
100%.
me to change my day. It's like I don't go put on sandals when it's a snowstorm. You know, I'm putting on snow boots because I want to get through the snow. And I don't know what the day's going to be like. So if I start putting on gratitude as my outerwear, I'm seeing everything as a different day to begin with. So I mean, gratitude literally gets me to design a more content and serene life. Right off,
Yeah.
boom.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
You ready for my question?
Hell yeah. I was
All
like
right.
dying for it. I couldn't even get done fast enough.
Bro, that was I love you guys, man. This has been really, really fun. I'm actually now awake now, so we can actually start the podcast. I'm actually awake.
Okay, I'll push record.
All
I was just kidding.
right. I finally have arrived, guys. I can know what day it is. Hello. Good to see you guys, man. I didn't know y'all were here already.
Hey, I'm grateful you arrived.
I'm grateful
Hey.
for you too, man. So look, man.
Fucking love y'all.
So gratitude, right? It does a lot of things for us. Cultivating gratitude is a powerful thing in recovery, helps us, focus on positive aspects, foster stronger relationships, so on and so forth. How has gratitude helped you reduce negative emotions, that resentment, anger, fear, guilt, what have you? And then also, and then subsequently shift to fostering and focusing on those positives.
Why do you guys have such adult questions? Like, how does it foster that, huh? Wow. I mean,
professionals.
gratitude, man, it keeps it in perspective. It just keeps it in perspective because when I can foster that stuff, I understand further that these feelings, man. They told me when I got here. Good news is you get your feelings back. Bad news is you're getting your feelings back. And my literature tells me that I already have trouble identifying my feelings, right? An addict not using is in an abnormal state, right?
What?
So, for lack of a better term, I'm already behind the eight ball. And plus now you introduce these feelings, right? Like at the core of everything, right? And I'm so grateful that I've been able to do work in this process. I realize that I'm just this scared little boy on the inside, right? And fear drives me to make 90% of this, probably more than 90% of the decisions I make throughout my day are fear-based in some type of way when I make those decisions, right? So what do I get to do to foster that, right? I get to feel, heal, and deal, man. I get to recognize these things, man, because today, like I might not always understand the feeling behind it. This feelings wheel that somebody sent me a long time ago, man. Like I studied that motherfucker. Like I was like looking at a prehistoric bird or some shit, right? And I studied it, and like I can see where all this stuff branches from. And like today, man, like simply put, man, if it doesn't leave me with an okay feeling, I know there's something funky in it, right? And it's probably something I either see in you or it's in myself that I'm just discontent with, right? And I get to use that, man, because again, man, we are each other's eyes and ears. And I get to kind of identify this stuff. It's funny, right? Because there's an addict that struggles a lot, and this person comes into the room and compares and kind of almost trashes the fellowship that I absolutely adore and saves my life on a daily basis. And it's sometimes it's hard to listen to that, but like, who am I to rob that person, right? Who am I to rob that person of their process and their everything that they might need, whatever I say that all the time. Who am I to deny you your rock bottom, right? Who am I to do that?
Amen.
But this person has been like talking to me on the side, and like they said last night, like basically some way that like I basically go against the literature, and I'm like, oh, please, like I need to entertain this for a second. And then I was like, hold on. Do you need to entertain that? Do you need to entertain that? And the answer is no, I don't need to entertain that. Because
Need.
like if you're
It's like
picking me
deserve.
if you're picking me apart and taking my inventory, sorry. Sorry, that's not my shit. That's not my shit, man. That's not my shit. Because I know at the end of the day, like, am I perfect? Absolutely not. So how do I use that gratitude piece to cultivate, man? I'm so grateful we're not all sick at the same time.
We pray for him,
But
and we pray for him.
absolutely. Listen, man, I'm the first person that'll tell you everybody, every single you gentlemen right here and everybody else, y'all deserve this too. Y'all deserve this too. Because this man, this way of life has been nothing short of beautiful. Nothing short of it. It's not always fucking rainbows and hawk tuas,
Hawk
boys.
to us.
You know I like to say that because it's not always pretty, man. It's not. It's not always gonna be
Hawk
this
to.
it's not always gonna be this sunrise that I like to count. It's not always gonna be doom and gloom either, man. Sometimes it's about that just staying on that even keel for a day and just like it was an okay day. Um, but I can use that gratitude to cultivate it and kind of you know, spread it, right? Spread it. My man's got that super soaker full of love, man. Let me get that when your finger gets tired of pulling the trigger, right? Because
Yes,
I got you
sir.
too, bro.
Yes,
I got
sir.
you too, man. And like I get to kind of try and be this beacon, right? Because again, we're not always sick at the same time, and I get my fucking turn in the barrel too. I get my turn in that barrel too. I am not exempt from having a challenging day. I'm not exempt from having a challenging stress. I'm not exempt from experiencing some things in life that are just what I deem to be unfair. Check it out. I had to learn a long time ago too that like I was used to say, "Oh, life is unfair," but check it out, right? It's not fair for everybody, right? So that makes it fair. That makes it fair, right? That just makes it fair. Like
Ooh, spicy.
smash that illusion real fast because like I'm not a victim anymore. I'm not.
Mm.
I'm just not. I am a willing participant in 99.99% of the things that I've been through in my life, whether I choose to admit it and accept it or not. I've made those choices, and sometimes I've laid in that bed begrudgingly, and it's all in my will. It's all in my will. So I
Mhm.
need to remember that, like that we part, and I don't even know if I answered this fucking question correctly,
I think
but
you answered it
Dude,
like bullseye.
that's one
but
of the boys right there, boy.
but like that's what it is, man. If I can have that attitude of gratitude, and I used to be like, man, fuck this gratitude shit.
Take my ball, go home.
Yeah, like there's no way you guys are this fucking genuinely happy. And like, check it out, man. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice, and I'm grateful today, man.
No doubt. Grateful for you, Mikey. I'm grateful for that answer, man. All right, Milan, you ready?
I am ready.
So cultivating gratitude is obviously a powerful tool in recovery, right? It does a lot of things for us, helps individuals focus on positive aspects, foster stronger relationships, so on and so forth. So how has gratitude helped you reduce negative emotions, that anger, resentment, fear, guilt, and then shift it towards those positive aspects and focusing on those positives?
Well, I really liked how Mikey was talking about fears because, like I was saying with my little session with my sponsor last night, right? Like every time you're acting on fear, you're acting on self will. Every time you're making an action on fear, it's self will. So then it breaks down to fear or faith,
Yes. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
like, are are you acting out of gratitude? Really, like, are you acting out of appreciation for this universe, or are you acting like you still need something, and that need is just another manifestation of fear, which is self will. So
Mhm.
it's like coming from a place of gratitude, you know, like, thank you, universe, for everything I got, right? Like, right there, I'm nuzzling up next to my higher power in the bosom of love and appreciation. And that is a place of safety. And you know, I'm going to make better decisions, and I'm just going to be more content and more serene in my life. You know, I've never been like, man, I'm so scared. This is a great feeling of serenity. Like I'm fear and serenity just they can't come through the same door at the same time. And fear and gratitude, like I'm so scared I'm grateful. Like how does that work? How does that work? You know? Like,
Yeah.
you know, so if I can stay in the gratitude, just that very attitude keeps me from taking the day and making it shitty in my own head. You know, like I need and I deserve, or you deserve, or you need. That's all me pulling the strings. And that's the shortest way for me to have expectations, be disappointed, be angry, and and then you pull all those resentments and all those character defects and shortcomings, they all come back to fear. So that's still me pulling the strings. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's that for
I
me.
love that. I love that. And I'm going to go right into it with my, fear. And what is fear, guys? Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Come on with it. False evidence appearing real, right? And then what? And you went right into the solution, Milan. When fear comes knocking at my door, guys, and I can answer that door with faith, there's nobody at the door anymore, man. Faith wins every single time, and if I can stay faithful, the fear piece doesn't come in a way where it's gonna take me off track, man. Having that faith of taking that whole, that first step without seeing the actual whole staircase, right? Having a faith in myself, man. Being faithful in my endeavors, man, is so fucking huge, man. So big. Um, so let's see, what was I gonna do here? Yes. So fostering that gratitude, taking me out of those, resentment, anger, and fear. If I'm living in those places, I'm working towards that's not healthy. Those aren't healthy emotions, man. I'm not coming across in a healthy way if I'm feeling those things, right? And so where we at here? I had something written down that I really wanted. Well, I had a really good thing written down and I totally lost it. That's okay. Look, I was pumped up, ready. I don't even care, because look, when I remain grateful, what it does is it allows me to stay in the solution, not the problem. Right? I got to stay in the solution and not the problem. If I'm constantly on that uptick, man, I'm gonna stay. I have an addictive personality, man. My father used to tell me as a young kid that we have addictive personalities. He never told me I could use it for good things. He never said we can do this and you can be good at this and this. No, it was like, hey, we've got an addictive personality, and it was almost like you got to watch out for that thing. While all the meanwhile doing drugs in front of me when I'm 12 years old, right? Like so. Even though I love my father and I have everything that he was a loving man. He was a great father in terms of morals and values. He was just a drug addict, man. He didn't know. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know he still doesn't know. Shit, I consider my father my best friend still to this day, and I haven't talked to him for almost 3 years. So it's tough for me. It's tough for me. I want to just, I come into this program and I want to understand myself. And it's not about anybody else anymore today. And I realize, man, I don't have a drug problem. Like the problem is not drugs. I got a me problem. I have a me problem because I'm getting clean. I get clean and problems don't go away. Right? Life does not get any easier. But my literature tells me we get better at life. Right, you getting this new job, Mikey, you're able to ebb and flow and contact your people and have an open dialogue, right? And know that you're going into that situation, and you took yourself off the clearance rack a long time ago, bro. We figured out what we were worth again, man. Why? Because we got clean. We decided that we wanted to do a little work on ourselves, And that man right there that just got 4 years clean, and congratulations, man. It gives me hope, man. I love you, man. You prayed both of us into these rooms right here. This podcast would not even be alive today if you didn't pray us into these rooms, Mikey. So thank you. Thank you, man. I have you to thank for my fucking life, man. And I will not take that shit for granted, man. And I'm not gonna risk going back out and you not praying me back up in here, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even though, I mean, let's say I go out and you pray for me specifically, it still don't mean it's gonna hit in my direction. It's not gonna find me under that bridge next time. When I go out, I don't have an Apple AirTag attached to me, man. It's a lot of times you're not gonna find me when I go back out, man. You know, and the shit that's on the streets now today, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? They're taking these drugs to homeless camps and giving homeless people $30 and watching if they're dying or not. Get the fuck out of here, man. Talk about the inhumanity type shit that's going on in this world today. I have risen above that, man, because why I came in. This is the last house on the block for me, Mikey, and I came in and I sat my happy ass down, man, my weird wanged ass out. I sat my ass down on that dusty ass couch, and I saw y'all talking a message and talking some shit that I could understand. At some point, I could get the feeling of the room, and I leaned into that, man, and leaning into positive things are not fun at the beginning, man. But I was always so bitter. I was a bitter person, man. But I learned that bitterness is just an attachment to the past. And I can't get better by staying bitter. You know, we get better by getting better. How do we get better?
Change.
We change. We talk about our problems. We put it out there on paper, on screen. We do step work, which allows our problems and our issues to be face up to the God of our understanding, so he can read it. Man. Through the pen, I see the light today, man. Through the pen, I see the light. And the magic we're looking for, guys, is in the work we're avoiding. So that thing that you're looking that you don't want to do, that you've been thinking about doing for 2 or 3 years, that's kept you up at night, go do that thing. Go do that thing. Because you know what? That's going to give you the strength to piggyback on that and go do that next thing that you've been thinking about doing for a little while, man. And you know what? I guarantee you're going to be able to walk around and breathe a little bit better once you do those couple things. And if I didn't come into these rooms, man, I wouldn't understand that. Like, faith is simply having confidence in that God. Faith comes when he talks back, right? And my God's power of love creates my blessings today, bro. And I can go grab them things at any time as long as I stay faithful. My faith, we've talked about this before, my faith is going to time each one of those blessings. If I don't stay faithful, I don't stay clean and stay faithful and stay grateful, I'm not going to be able to see them and time them, man. I'm going to blow right through them, man. Just like I used to not notice a rainbow when I was in active addiction. What the fuck was a rainbow? Now I see a rainbow and I want to go drive towards that bitch now, man. I'm trying to find the end. I'm trying to find the end today. I'm good. Love you.
Okay, so we're gonna do a 1 minute lightning round. Mikey, you asked the question. We're each gonna get 1 minute. I'm gonna set the timer.
Doing the jig.
Yeah, we're doing it. It's back. Come on, Mikey. Come on with the question.
Doing a jig.
All right, Milan, what other spiritual principles have helped you develop a better understanding of gratitude?
Boom. What other spiritual principles? Okay, first of all, open-mindedness. My mind needing to be open to seeing things differently. Okay, willingness. I needed to be willing to pull myself out of my dirty little negative delusional spot and do that work. Honesty, to see the world as it really was and not just hide behind my delusions because then I was right, And of course, acceptance that I don't know what's going on, and surrendering who I was, surrendering my addiction, surrendering my negative shit that was just inside me for a new way of life. And, compassion, having compassion for other people allows me to have gratitude for them. Tolerance is going to allow me to see that special thing in you instead of wanting to change it. And I'm going to leave it there. Boom.
All right, I'm up. You're going to ask me real quick?
What other spiritual principles have helped you develop a better understanding of gratitude?
Okay, surrender. You gotta surrender, bro. I gotta out-surrender this fucking thing, man. Look, it's a lot better to out-surrender this thing than to try to constantly work on what I think's wrong with me. You with me? This is a program of surrender, not self-improvement. It gives me hope. I have goodwill in my life today. I have patience. I have generosity. I can be of service to me, to my community. I have freedom in my life today. I have independence. I have vigilance in my life today. I have integrity in my life today. I understand what the spiritual principle of rotation is today. I have dignity in my life today. I have balance today. I respect myself. I'm loyal to myself. I'm a confidence person today. I'm a wise person today. I can do everything with honesty. I have communication in my life today. I have brotherly love in my life today. I have motivation in my life today. I have moderation in my life today. I have sincerity in my life today. And I have a solidarity in my life that I never had before in my life, ever.
Okay, Mikey, you ready? 3, 2, 1, lightning Mike.
Ditto. Holy shit. You guys just covered everything. Surrender, open-mindedness, willingness. Honesty is number one for me because I couldn't ever be honest with myself, right? And through that honesty allows me to start to finally appreciate things, right? I love that somebody said integrity, tolerance, patience, humility. Humility was huge because it's not always about coming up. Sometimes it's about coming back down too, right? And I got to remember, man, that as long as I keep the how of this program, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, I get to share those things with other people, and I start to experience this sense of gratitude. Man, this shouldn't have been a lightning round question, but it kind of could because we can just bang them off all real fast because everything, it all encompasses it. It all encompasses it, and I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm grateful to be here, baby.
That's right.
Boom.
Hey.
I just want to say that I am so grateful that we get to be brothers and start our day with something as just as beautiful as a podcast on gratitude.
I'm loving this, bro. Remember, guys, it's beautiful, man. Look, it's okay to live a life that most people don't understand, guys. Be grateful for this thing, man. And look, and remember this. I just want to say one more thing. This is my last thing. I want y'all to really, really think about this. If somebody could only see your actions and not hear your words, what would they say about you as a person? Roast on that thing, man.
Mikey, you got something to say at the end here, brother?
Nah, man, I'm just grateful to be here. Beautiful way to start my day.
Good to see your ugly mug, man. I ain't
you.
seen your ugly mug in a few days, man. You've been working hard, man. I'm proud of you, motherfucker.
Hey, everybody, tune in next episode for more recovery fun. We love you. Yeah. Hey, I'm grateful for y'all. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.